up, guys? Welcome back to OverTakes. This is Misfit, and today, this episode, we are going to be talking Kickoff Clash. We're going to talk the matches, at least the first round matches that we have solidified. We're going to dive into those, and then I'm going to get out my crystal ball, and we're going to have all the things ready to go, and I am going to give you my bracket predictions on the show. We're going to go right down on the east side and the west side, and give you everyone I think that's going to advance and all that kind of fun stuff. We're going to have a lot of fun on this one. But first, I'd like to thank all you guys for joining me. All of your support's been greatly appreciated over the last 5 years, or for the last day, however long you guys have been supporting me. Thank you very much. If you're new, thanks a lot for joining me. I do Overwatch League content 2 to 3 times a week. We talk about matches and teams and players and all of the stuff that concerns with the Overwatch League. And we do talk some regular Overwatch. Not a ton, but we do talk a little bit when there's patches, and obviously we're in the middle of beta testing and all that stuff. We do talk some of that stuff. Let's get down to business. We have a bunch of matches to talk about. I'm excited. I'm ready to go. You know, this is what we live for. We have a LAN event, the first tournament format LAN event we've had since Blizzard Arena days back in 2019. I'm super excited for the crowd, all of the things that make these events unbelievable. It has the vibes, for me at least, being a regular sports fan. I know some of you guys aren't, but it has the vibes of playoffs and that kind of things where people are excited and all that kind of, like the noise and the crowd, and you got Dallas at home. It's going to be fun, and I cannot wait for it to start. It's going to be an unbelievably cool event. It's what we've been looking forward to since they announced that they were going to do homestands and the playoffs on LAN and stuff like that. We also have the East, who unfortunately cannot do that. But that tournament is going to be fantastic as well. I'm looking forward to that. Almost on a game front, almost a little bit more because there's less teams, so it's kind of and APAC has been so up in the air with who's good, who's bad. Well, not necessarily bad when you're talking tournaments. What teams are better? There's teams that are playing better on, 1 week they're good, 1 week they're not looking as good, one match to a next match. Metas, what they're playing, they are forced to play or whatever. I'm actually looking forward to both, but the East is definitely more intriguing. They've had less time to flesh things out. They've had 2 weeks as opposed to 4. So that one's going to be very interesting as well. Here's how today's going to work. We're going to talk West bracket. We're going to break down the first round matches. We're going to talk matchups. I'm not going to go way in depth like I do when I do my key matches and we do the tail of the tape and all that. We might do a quick tail of the tape, but I'm not going to go too in depth because we have a lot to cover. We have 6 matches that we want to go over and then get out the crystal ball and do our predictions for the tournament. I'm going to give you guys, and also I'm going to give you guys my first round picks when we go over these. So let's stop wasting time, and now that I told you how this is going to work, let's go over it. We're going to start in the West. We got 4 games kicking off on Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. First match, we have the Shock versus the Justice. Shock, number 1 seed. They decided to pick the Justice for obvious reasons. They match up so much better against them than maybe a couple other teams. Mayhem might give them a little trouble. Glads might give them trouble. You wouldn't really want to pick the Gladiators in there. They picked the Justice because the Justice are an anomaly. They can play well against good teams, and they play terrible against bad teams, and sometimes they just play terrible altogether. And the occasional, like they railed the rain. There's the occasions where that happens. But this match I see going in the favor of the Shock. Just the rookies on the Shock, yes, they're inexperienced. They might trip up and lose the map. I have this 3-1 going to the Shock. My key points in this match are Proper versus Decay. I think Proper wins this. Decay and Mag do not have, we talked about this in the last recap episode, they don't have a great synergy together as good as they should. There's a lot of hero play, a lot of not coordinated dives and things like that by the Justice. The Shock are the polar opposite of that. Their dives are fantastic when they do play dive, and you have Kaluge playing fantastic on whatever he's playing. Their support line is better, just on paper alone, just looking at it. The two things that it comes down to me were the tanks and the DPS. I like Kaluj better than Mag, or the potential for Kalios. And I also, right now, I will take the proper Kilo and Sam DPS line over the Decay Happy line. It's pretty close because Decay and Happy have their moments. But consistency-wise, I'm going with consistency in this. I'm taking the Shock 3-1. That will move the Justice down to the losers bracket. Next match up on this, we have the Smack Talk battle here. Well, one of them. We have a couple, and it's awesome. But we have the Reign versus the Mayhem. Reign are reeling. They're having trouble with some of the comps that are going on. Things like that. They're wildly inconsistent right now. They have the players to do the things that they need to do. I like Gator and Hawk. I like their support line. Their rookie support line is very good. And their DPS are very good. But I'm going to say one thing here. All right, first off, you guys know I'm a Mayhem fan. So they're my boys. I'm obviously picking them. But I'm going to say one thing. And a lot of people have been saying this. And watching matches, and I watch all the Mayhem matches all the way through. Someone is grossly underrated. Watch this guy play. He is playing all of the tanks that are necessary. Adam hasn't even seen the light of day. Someone has been playing the Doom. He's played some Rhine. He's played some Monkey. He's played Zarya. He's doing them all really well, too. So I'm loving where this is going for the Mayhem. They can run whatever they want against the Reign. Yes, the Reign did beat them, but the Mayhem have actually improved. You might say that their schedule is crappy or whatever you want to say, but the Reign lost to London, who are in a Chengdu zone, and they lost to the Justice, which is what it is. But they also lost to the Gladiators in a rout, if you really want to be truthful about it. The Mayhem did lose to the Reign, and the Reign did do things to them, but first match of the year, right now, I got to lean on the Mayhem. They are looking good. I think a couple of pieces on their team are very underrated. The Reign are good. I see it 3-2, like I said. But keys in this match for me are going to be Checkmate and someone, if they run a monkey dive, are really, really working well together. Also, Sir Majed is playing low-key one of the better Anas in the league. Because you're hearing a lot of things, even about the Reign supports. It's close. I could even call it a wash between the Reign supports and the Mayhem supports, because Anamo's playing really well too. Watch the matches. Anamo's better than advertised. Better than I've advertised, because I had problems with him last year on Soul, but he's playing really well. But I like the Mayhem in this one. Reign, lose 3-2. They go down to the losers bracket with the Justice. Next match in the West, we have Glad's Outlaws. I don't think this one's going to be close. I think Houston gets a map against the Gladiators. The Gladiators are clicking right now. They've gotten some of the things worked out. They look good on whatever comps they run. Reiner, he's not as underrated as someone, but he's playing like someone in that he can play a lot of different things, and they like to run the Sigma. If they're playing on Circuit Royale, you bring in Space. Not a big loss. If you really want to, you could bring in Space to play Zarya. That also could work. I just think right now, hands down, they're better than the Outlaws by a vast margin. I like the Gladiators 3-1. Last match in the first round in the West, we have the Fuel taking on the Defiant. I do not think this match is going to go any different than the last time that these two teams met. I think the Fuel are just going to own them. The Fuel they're on the level with the Shock, and they're clicking like they did front half of last year. Hanbin's amazing. You have the DPS line where you can run Doha, Sparkle, Edison, possibly Gario if you want to. But what I'm getting at is they're very versatile, and they're very well coached, and they're very, very solid. Toronto's got some turmoil going on. I don't know what's going on there. We might see something at the break. Who knows? But I just think Dallas is way better than they are. Toronto does have the advantage, as I always say, with their supports. Twilight and Churong are amazing. But it's not enough to carry against Hanbin and whatever DPS they throw at them. And they run that Zarya comp to a T. It's like last year when they were running some of the comps that they were doing. They're so well coached. They're like a machine. They have the players to do these things too. I just like Dallas in this. 3-0. Easy clap. Done with Toronto. And I'm not hating on Toronto. I'm just being real right now. Dallas is that much better. Hotba may be Angie, but it's not going to help them against the Shock. Maybe they get a map, but I don't think so. I like Dallas 3-0. Now, let's focus on the East. We'll talk first round. I'm running through these pretty quick, guys, but because we have a lot to talk about, and there's a lot of... It's me, so I'm going to ramble about something at some point here. You guys know this. I already talked simping on someone for 2.5 minutes. So... there's going to be more. I'm excited. I am amped up for this. All right, East, let's go. Spark decided they want to play Fusion, so that's the first match we have, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time from the East on Friday. I did not mention, I apologize, West matches start Thursday morning, or Thursday afternoon, so get ready for that, guys. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. Fusion Spark. I see this one a little bit closer, maybe, than it was before, but I just think Hangzhou's playing better Overwatch altogether consistently. I like what Bernard's doing. He's playing a lot of different tanks. He's one of these guys that are picking up main tanks and doing a lot of things that you maybe didn't expect him to do. He played Reinhardt in the last match against, and Fusion didn't look half bad. They didn't even put Gushui in for that. He plays a phenomenal Zarya. He's doing all the things that you need him to do. He plays Doomfist if necessary, if you want to run it. Fusion, they need to clean up some stuff. They're not bad. They could go on a run. I'm not ruling that out, guys. But here's the thing. They need to clean up some stuff, and I don't know if it's been enough time to do that. Maybe during the break they do, and they get to that peak form like they had against Shanghai first match there. But there's some things they need to work on. Zest and MN3 sometimes need to dial it back a little bit. There was a couple of occasions I watched in the matches where they get baited into fights. They're being aggressive. I like aggressive play. But there's times where you got to dial it back and go, look, we need to do some objective-based stuff. Sometimes they don't play the macro. They're going after the micro stuff where they're chasing down supports, which is fine, but they're losing out on some things. There's been a couple of C9s. There's a lot of, it's a new team. There's a lot of things going on. Aim God dies a lot in some of these matches. And it's not necessarily him. It's some of the aggression things that we were talking about. Maybe your Tracer or your Soldier needs to peel a little bit. Zest needs to kind of maybe watch the back a little bit. Aim God needs to position better sometimes. They have the talent on this team. I just think also, as much as we've been talking about Zest, I'm the other Hangzhou Spark simp on the planet other than Reinforce. I think Alpha Yi, no matter what you guys say, he's in the running with Proper. This dude is amazing. And he's doing stuff for the Spark, consistency-wise and hard carry-wise too. I just like them a little bit better. Could the Fusion win this match? Definitely. But I'm going with the Spark again, 3-2 in this match. All right, next match. Does Seoul beat Shanghai? I think it's closer than the last time, much like we just talked about. Seoul has the potential to beat Shanghai, but Shanghai, low-key, as bad, quote-unquote, as they've played, they're still 5-1. They went through a 4-match gauntlet. Yeah, they had some 3-2 matches against teams they shouldn't have. Guangzhou, Valiant. Okay, I'll give you that. But who are you on Genji is clowning kids. And as long as Genji's meta and they have that going on, he clutches out fights and wins. Lip also is doing insane amounts of work for this team. They have a clutch factor that's bailed them out a few times this week, or last week, I should say. I think it may come into play again where, and I don't like saying this, Who are you, like, I can't knock my boy Prophet, but who are you Genji right now is like when he was playing in Apex. He's that good. You didn't see him. Some of you guys don't even know who he is. Dude is playing really well. Prophet, if you get him on Tracer and they run with Smurf on the Winston, I love that combination together. Prophet will carry some point in this match. He will do something insane. Always does. It's a playoff moment. It's money on the table. His name is Prophet for a reason. I've said this a million times. But overall, I got to go Dragon. I think their biggest issue is working the tanks into a solo tank situation, getting Lee Jae Gong maybe a tick dialed back, and getting used to the 5v5 has been the hardest thing, I think, for them. They also had internet issues and all kinds of other stuff that I'm not going to dive into, but that does make a little bit of a factor in their early performance in this stage 2 weeks ago. But I like the Dragons 3-2. Okay, so there we have it with the first round. It's time to bust out Misfits Crystal Ball. Talking in third person, guys. This is serious shit. So get ready. All right, so we talked first round. Now let's talk about where I think this is going. We'll start in the West. We'll finish the West bracket, then we'll move to the East, and then we'll call it a day, and we'll watch the matches on Thursday. And don't forget, I'm on Twitter, so feel free to hit me up. Links are down below. My OverTakes site. Also, just look up OT Misfit on twitter.com. I'm there too if you guys want to engage there. That's where I usually hang out. I do have a Discord channel. I'm in the process of trying to work it out and restructure it into a different format. We had it when I had my partner, and it's a little wonky right now. We had different rooms that we used for different things when we were doing it, but the format of the show changed, so I want to change it up. I'm going to try and do that in the break so we have a place to hang out and talk. Anyway, West bracket. Crystal Ball is out. We're going. We're diving in. This is how I see the next match. The Shock Mayhem is my winners bracket round 2 on the top side of the bracket. Shock Mayhem, Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I like Shock 3-1. They're just that much better than the Mayhem. I love the Mayhem. I think they're learning. They're getting better. They're just not on the level of the Shock yet. I think they can handle a team like the Reign, beat them in a pressure situation, but I do not think they're on the level with the Shock. I like the Shock 3-1. A lot of the reasons I talked about, mostly in that I think that the tanks are even. I think maybe the supports are even, close to even. But DPS-wise, proper Kilo Sam, I like a little bit better than Hydron XZ and Checkmate, who are really good, but they're not on that level yet. Finn probably a little bit better than Sir Majed, and then Onimo maybe a tick better than, right now, than Violet. Violet's learning. He's getting better every match. That's how I see the first winners bracket match. That moves Mayhem down to the losers bracket. We have a banger coming up in the next one. 3-2 the last time. Gladiators Fuel. I'm going with the same result, but not in a reverse sweep fashion. I think the Fuel learned some things from that. The Gladiators have played better since then too, but I just think on the whole, at this moment, right now, in the year of our Lord, 2022, May 31st, Dallas is a little bit better than the Glads. And a lot of that is synergy, the things that the Fuel have been doing together. Hanmin is a beast. As good as Reiner is, Hanmin's a couple of steps better. I also think that you could make the argument right now, Fuel, DPS, a little bit more consistent than the people other than Kevster being Ons and Patapan that come in for the Gladiators. I find the supports fairly even, maybe a little lean on the Gladiators on that. But I like the Fuel 3-2 in this one. Let's move to elimination round 1. Justice Reign. I think Reign get their revenge on the Justice. Justice wildly inconsistent. Yes, they did beat them 3-1. But on the whole, Reign has better players. And I think they're better equipped for tournament play. I just don't see the Justice beating the Reign in a pressure situation. I think the guys on the Reign are a little more seasoned with this stuff. And also, on the whole, as they play, a little more cohesive, a little more aware of what they're doing, how to do certain things, and I just like them vastly better than I like the Justice right now. Outlaws Defiant. All right, Houston fans, you're going to hate me, but I'm going with the same result that you guys had earlier in the season. I think the Defiant right now are playing a lot better than Houston. Houston's scrambling, trying to figure out what to do, and this is one of the concerns I had with Houston. Yes, they came out with Dante on the Doomfist. It looked great in the first match, and the problem is that the comps they run with Piggy do not look that good. In the 5-map series they had against the Eternal last week, 2 of the maps they lost were with Piggy in there. They need to definitely figure out their tank situation in the short break, potentially now or at mid-season, whatever. They need to figure out something that's going to work. We'll see how things go with the new patch coming up. But to the Defiant, as much as I rail them, I think that they can beat the Outlaws. You got Angie Hotba. Nothing worse than an angry Hotba. It's known. It's written somewhere, isn't it? But I also think that Hisu and Finale, or potentially Aldo, who looked better this week against whoever they played, whatever garbage team they beat. They beat New York, who's terrible. That's okay. They needed a little regroup after all the drama, and there's potentially still drama going on. I don't know, but as I talked about in the first match, there's stuff going on, but I still think they're better than Houston. I think they can win this match. Support line, vastly better than Houston's. Hotba Muse, potentially better than Dante Piggy, and they run Winston Cops really, really well if they put Muse in there. I just don't think that the Dante Doom is going to be able to take them again. And Toronto proved that they can beat them. They knew how to deal with what Houston's doing. Hopefully Houston in the last couple of weeks has been working on some stuff. It makes us competitive. But I got to go with Toronto in this. That's elimination round 1. Winners round 3, I got Shock Dallas. First meeting of these two teams. They also meet in week 1 of the mid-season madness tournament. So first of a couple of meetings in the next 3-4 weeks. Dallas, San Francisco. I'm going in a nail-biting, insanely good match. I'm going Dallas 3-2, and all of it really comes down to experience and consistency in these situations with Dallas for me. These guys have been here before. They've been here a lot. Yeah, okay, you could say Proper and Kilo and Finn have all been in there. You got Krusty, you have Violet. You have all these guys that have a lot of experience, but you're on a LAN tournament. Dallas is at home. Also a factor I did not mention in the Gladiators game. Got the crowd behind you. I love Dallas in this 3-2. No, love is a hard statement. Like Dallas 3-2, close match. Dallas moves on to the finals. All right, next match. We have elimination round 2. Atlanta Mayhem rematch. I like the same score. I'm going 3-2. I'm just riding my boys until the ride ends. I think they want to beat the Reign. They're focused. And honestly, if that's all they do in this tournament, I think they're okay with that. If they beat the Reign twice, they made a statement for themselves. They could beat a team that's allegedly better than they are. I'm going to go with them beating the Reign 3-2, Atlanta eliminated. Next match, Toronto Gladiators. Gladiators 3-0. Not really much to talk about in that. Gladiators across the board have better players. One of the only teams that Toronto's going to play where they have a team that has a support line that's close, if not better, than theirs. And I think that's a defining factor. I also think Reiner's better than Muse or Angie Hotba. Gladiators 3-0. Okay, next elimination match. We have Glads versus the Florida Mayhem. Gladiators 3-1. They just got a little bit more right now. This is one of those, even though the guys are on different teams, they all have experience in tournaments and things like that. Florida's young and live environment, all that kind of thing. I'm going Gladiators 3-1. They across the board, Gladiators work out better. Maybe you can make the argument someone, for the most part, is better than Reiner. Maybe. I think it's a wash. The rest of the squad, you could go even on a couple. Maybe the hit scan roll could be even, but Kevster is a hard carry, and Shu and Funny Astro right now I think are a little bit better than Onimo Surmashed. So Gladiators move to the final bracket round for a rematch with the Shock, who reverse swept them. And in this match, I think that the Gladiators are going to win a 3-2 match. This is a Gladiator redemption arc, mostly because I made them the best team in NA instead of like the Shock or Dallas. Anyway. But I like the Gladiators in this 3-2. Reason being, they had them on the ropes. They shit the bed, whatever you want to call it, dropped the spaghetti, threw the spaghetti in the wall, gave the meatball to the dog. I don't care what you do with your spaghetti. They did something with it that shouldn't have been done. How did that become a thing? Someone needs to tell me why it's drop the spaghetti. Why not spill your drink? Drop the soup. I don't know. It's drop the spaghetti sounds better intrinsically. Fling your lasagna. I don't know. But I think the Gladiators are going to win 3-2, and most of it's going to be, honestly, on the play of their support line and Kevster. I think Kevster's going to have a good game in this. I don't know if he's necessarily going to outdo Proper, because that's very hard to do with that dude. But right now, I have a feeling. This is a total gut right here. Gut goes Los Angeles Gladiators. Head probably will go San Francisco Shock. Proper, Kilo, Finn, probably better than Ons Patapan. Kevster, I just think this is a moment for Kevster, and I also think Reiner can hang with Kaluge, and their support line is as good, if not better, than the Shock. Glad's 3-2. Final, we have Dallas taking on the Gladiators. I think, as much as I want a redemption arc for the Gladiators, I got to go with the Dallas Fuel 4-2 in this. Remember, 7-matcher, guys. Finals of a tournament. So I got to go Dallas 4-2. Hanbin, the main reason. Also, their Zarya comps are insanely good. Better than the Gladiators. Gladiators can run some things with Reiner. He does a really good Winston comp. They do Doomfist comps. But the way that the Dallas Fuel run that Zarya comp with whatever they run in the DPS line, whether it's a Soldier Tracer or if they run a Reaper or however they want to configure that, if they decide to go a Mei, which has happened, please stop with the Mei. Nerf Mei, please. Blizzard, I don't want to see her in Overwatch League all the time. Anyway, enough Mei complaining. But I like Dallas in this. They're also at home in a playoff situation. Yeah, you can make... There's a potential that they could lose these games, too. So, yeah, I like Dallas 4-2. They are your Kickoff Clash champions in my mind. Now let's move to the East, where we have, obviously, a lot less matches to talk about. Hangzhou, Dragons. I think the Dragons in this, they have consistently gotten better. Who Are You is playing fantastic. If you put Fleta in, if you want to do something different, if you're running a Reaper comp or something like that, you put Fleta in, you're fine. I like Shanghai 3-1 over the Spark. I just think that they're starting to come around. Shanghai, they've gotten their stuff together. They know what they're doing. They know how to play this game. They are used to these pressure situations. Hangzhou is good, but they're not quite on Shanghai's level yet in a tournament scenario. Also, Shanghai has proven that they can win in tight matches, which they beat Hangzhou in one match already this year doing that. So that moves Hangzhou down to the losers bracket. Losers bracket. All right. We have the Seoul Dynasty or Dynasty, wherever you're from, versus the Hangzhou Spark. I like Seoul 3-2, mostly on the back of playoff Prophet. I'm going with my boy in this one. Him and Smurf look really, really good. I think the Spark are going to make this a very, very close game. It's going to be a nail biter. It's going to be a tight one. Shy and Alpha Yi are insane. I think Fitz and Prophet can stick with them. Last time, Alpha Yi got the best of Prophet on Genji, but Prophet's Genji is really good, but it's not as close as his Tracer. And if they run some of those comps with Tracer in it, and also, side note, Smurf's Zarya has started to look a lot better. So if you maybe get a situation where you're running Smurf Zarya and you have Prophet on Tracer, sometimes he does Reaper too. His Reaper's really good as well. I just like them in a nail-biter 3-2 over the Spark. Finals. I think this is going to be the match of the weekend, in my opinion, if it gets there. Dragons Dynasty. I think this is going 7. And I'm going to say it because you have two teams. The Dynasty have trouble with the Dragons, aside from where you get a weird Roadhog meta. But I am going to go Dragons 4-3. I think it's going to be tit for tat, and I think it's going to come down to whatever the last map is, and we're going to see exactly what these two teams are made of. I think they're honestly the best two teams in APAC right now. Hangzhou is in that mix. Record-wise, they're better than Seoul, but I think Hangzhou is also in there at a close 3, maybe a 2 and 2A with Seoul. I haven't decided yet. Let's just put it this way. I think all 3 of these teams are really good. I just think Seoul is the more experienced in the pressure, and I think in this match alone, I think that they're going to come up with something. They're going to beat Seoul 4-3. It's going to be a banger of a match. You have a lot of good matchups here. I like Li Jaegon and Izayaki a little bit better than Creative and Vindayam. That's kind of the decider for me in this. If you wanted to go tail of the tape style, I think their DPS are fairly even. Who are you better on Genji than Prophet? Prophet better on Reaper and Tracer than if you put Fleta in there. It's just the way it is. And Fitz is going to hold his own. Lip has been playing insane too, by the way, this year. If you haven't watched much of the Shanghai Dragons, he's playing insane. Fitz can hang with him, though, on that level. He can have those games where he's on that level. So I'm not worried about the DPS as much. Maybe you give a tick edge to Lip over Fitz. A small margin. But if Fitz is on, we're in for a show. I like the Dragons 4-3. And that's going to do it for my Kickoff Clash preview. I love talking about these previews and tournaments and things like that, doing the crystal ball, busting it out, trying to figure out brackets. It's so much fun. And I love talking about high-pressure matches in any sport, but you get into Overwatch League, I love talking about these things or the scenarios that you come up with. There are a million scenarios that I didn't go over that some of you guys probably got going through your heads. Tell me who you like, what you think your finals are going to be, and that kind of thing. I want to hear it. And, it could be a homer-based. I don't care. I want to hear what you guys got. I got Dallas winning over the Glads, and I have Shanghai winning over Seoul. I know I went all chalk, so to speak, but, who knows? Maybe the Mayhem makes a run. Maybe the Justice surprise everybody and actually Decay and everybody get their shit together in the next week. Who knows? Philly could rise from the dead. We don't know. It's going to be fun. I want to hear what you guys got. But that's going to do it for this episode, guys. I'd like to thank you all for joining me. All of your support's greatly, greatly appreciated over the last 5 years or for the last day if you've been here, or the last 2 hours. Thank you very much. If you're new and you made it all the way to the end of the video, thanks for checking me out. If you could hit a like, hit a subscribe, that would be great. Helps me out with the algorithms. Gets more people in here. We talk more Overwatch League. Everything's better. And all the good stuff like that. This is Misfit. I'm out. Everybody stay safe. Have a good rest of your day. And I will talk to you on the next one.